Clearly, obviously, when you talk about any of the cast of the original Star Trek television series, you're going to use the word iconic about any of them, whether it's obviously good Canadian kid William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, but also Nichelle Nichols, who played Uhura, who was one half of one of the most socially important milestones in American media at the time, when on Star Trek they had the first interracial kiss between Captain Kirk and Uhura, and it was the first time it had ever happened. And I can already hear, if that was first aired today, the screams of woke from certain corners of YouTube would have hyper blasted across the internet. But seriously though, like, it was one of the most important things to happen, especially in American media at the time. Her character was fantastic when we got into the movies. I mean, obviously she was one of the ones that had to come back as well. She's been a great ambassador in the following years. Now, obviously, whenever we've seen her, we could tell her health has been failing a lot over the years, but she passes away. Now, Rob, as you know, our resident Star Trek guy, I mean, your thoughts on the passing of Nichelle Nichols and the importance and her ultimate legacy when it comes to television and media.
Well, you know, she was the first woman I ever loved, to be honest. To me, I thought she was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. And of course, she was on the bridge crew of the Enterprise. She was my dream girl growing up. And there's an episode in the second season called Mirror, Mirror, when she's in the mirror universe and she has her exposed midriff. And I'm like, that's the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life. When she threatens Mirror Sulu, you know, it's so great. So I mean, look at her. She one of the most beautiful women ever on television. And I actually had an opportunity. I worked on a project with her a little bit, a movie called Lady Magdalene's that unfortunately is not good. although she was wonderful, and I got to know her a little bit personally. Obviously, you know, she went to work as an ambassador for NASA in the 70s.
That's right, yeah.
And you know, I think that there's that story that Martin Luther King told her that she didn't want to stay on Star Trek. She didn't have a whole lot to do.
Right.
And so Martin Luther King, whether it was true or not, apocryphal or not, it's a great story. He said, listen, you know, what this says to the world is that there are black people in the future and they matter. Whoopi Goldberg has said the same thing. When she was a little girl, she saw someone that looked like her on the bridge crew of the Enterprise, which meant that, you know, we're coming right out of the civil rights movement of the 60s. You had the assassination of Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy. So it was a very tumultuous time. And for someone like Nichelle Nichols to be part of the command crew, so ultimately, if she needed to, she could have been in command of the Enterprise. She was part of that crew. And to have somebody like that, it made a big statement at the time. And she was, I mean, her poise, her grace, her elegance, and even in the 70s, like, you got to watch. She's in a movie that stars Isaac Hayes called Truck Turner, where she basically plays a pimp, a madam. And she kills it. I mean, she's awesome. You can actually see. I was watching this clip on YouTube yesterday. I mean, she was actually a great actress that could play a number of different parts. It's just when you get stuck in sort of this iconic role. But she's had a lot of other roles where she was actually very, very good. But she lived a good full life. And I'll tell you something. As far as an ambassador for Star Trek, everyone who ever came across her at conventions or ever met her loved her. And she had done so many things, so much charity work, so much outreach. She was truly a delightful human being. And she had a sparkle. A friend of mine, Darren Scott, who they made Tales from the Hood. And she came back and she was in one of the sequels. And he had her call me on the phone when they were shooting. And he had the best time with her. And you know, she will be missed. But she led a great life, you know. And she will definitely be missed, and she was iconic, and I'm just happy that I was able to meet her a few times. And, you know, the fact that not only was she the first woman I ever loved as a child, you know, what can I say? And I really loved her. Like, I was convinced I was going to grow up and marry her. It was that kind of a thing. Her green hoop big earrings. Man, I love those earrings. That didn't happen, unfortunately. I mean, maybe she was a little old for me, but rest in peace. Godspeed, Nichelle Nichols.
Chris, when you look back on, the legacy she leaves behind, what's going to stand out to you?
I mean, mostly what stands out is her work with NASA, because I worked for the Space Center in
Right.
Houston, and she was so important for selecting NASA Astronaut Group 8 back in the 1970s, like Rob was saying. Dr. Mae Jemison cites her role on Star Trek as being the thing that pushed her to going, I can be an astronaut. And that's why she was the first Black female astronaut. Whoopi Goldberg cites her as, I could see myself in a genre that I usually don't see myself in. She's one of the people that made me realize I can be an actor, I can be anything. So just that visibility she provided for so many people, and to get women so excited about being in STEM, to get minorities so excited about being in STEM, I think is so huge. And I think that's the really cool thing about storytelling, is that even if you're telling stories that seem fantastical, there is something so important about seeing yourself in them that just transcends storylines and genres and everything.
Guys, the question is for you. When you look back on the, iconic role that she has played of Nichelle Nichols, what do you think about, what stands out to you the most? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. We want to thank the sponsor of this video, Stamps.com. Now, guys, you don't need me to tell you that running a business, no matter how big or small, is an incredible stress. It feels like you need 5 of you for all the different directions you're being pulled in. And with all that, who's got time to go to the post office? Having to drop everything that you're doing to make a run to the post office is a major pain and drain on your day, especially when you've got more important things to do, like running your business. So stop mailing and shipping the hard way. Stamps.com is your 24/7 post office that you can access from everywhere. Skip the headache with Stamps.com. Stamps.com gives you access to all of the post office and UPS shipping services that you need right from your computer. And get discounts you can't find anywhere else, like up to 30% off USPS rates and 86% off UPS. Stamps.com just makes your life easier, guys. You're up and running in minutes, printing official postage for any letter, any package, anywhere you want to send it. So guys, don't mail and ship the hard way. Sign up with Stamps.com today. Sign up with the promo code Campea for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code Campea.